Hello students. So till the last class we have seen that DNA is the genetic material. Now we will discuss more about this DNA. So I will discuss the structure of DNA, that is the double helical structure, which was given by Watson and Crick. Before starting with the structure of the DNA, let me discuss this, the central dogma of life. I have discussed this before also in our first chapter. So the formation of DNA to DNA, the process is called as replication. So in our next topic we will discuss about replication. And before we discuss about replication, we should know a little bit about the DNA. So I will discuss the basic properties, the features of a DNA. Then from DNA to RNA, the formation of RNA from DNA, the process is called as transcription. And the formation of protein from RNA, the process is called as translation. So we will discuss all three in this chapter. First we will begin with replication. That is formation of DNA to DNA. So before starting with the process, let us know a little bit about DNA. DNA, it is a double helical structure, and the structure of DNA was given by two scientists, Watson and Crick. They give this double helical structure of the DNA. So this is the structure of a double helical structure of DNA. This is a double helical structure. So it composed of two strands. This is one strand, this is another strand. And these strands, it run anti-parallel to each other. That is, one will start from 5' and it will end in 3' direction. Another one will start from 3' and it will end in 5' direction. So these are the backbone of the DNA. These are the backbone, and it is composed of, it constitute sugar and phosphate. So sugar and phosphate, it form the backbone of the DNA. And these are the nitrogenous bases. So we have 4 different types of nitrogenous bases in DNA, that is guanine, which we represent as G, cytosine, it is represented as C, thymine, it is represented as T, and adenine, this is represented as A. So these are the nitrogenous bases that is present inside this backbone. Now these nitrogenous bases, these are complementary to each other, which means with A, the complementary pair will be T. Always T will be present. With adenine, the thymine is present. And with G, always cytosine, C is present. So if C is present, then here the complementary pair will be guanine. If T is present, then the complementary pair will be A, that is adenine. So these bases, nitrogenous bases, these are complementary to each other. Now these bases, these are held together by hydrogen bond. So hydrogen bond is present between G and C, and hydrogen bond is present between T and A. And there will be 3 hydrogen bond between G and C, and there will be 2 hydrogen bond between T and A. So this will be more strong with the G and C, since it contains 3 hydrogen bond, and this one between T and A will be less strong. Now let's begin with the basic principle about this DNA replication. So we have just seen that the model of the DNA, that is the double helical structure, which was given by Watson and Crick. So here you can see replication. From one strands of DNA we are getting, from one strand we are getting 2 strands. It is doubling. And from this strand also we are getting a new strand of DNA. So these are daughter DNA and these are the parental DNA. So as I said, the hydrogen bond between the DNA bases, it breaks to allow the strand separation. So suppose from here our replication will start, that is formation of DNA from a DNA will start. So these bonds need to be break down isn't it? Because if we break down this, then only new strand can be synthesized from this. So for that we need to break down the hydrogen bond between the DNA bases that was present, so that it will allow the separation of the two strands. So by breaking the hydrogen bond between the bases, we are separating these two strands of DNA. These are the parental strands. Now each DNA strand, it acts as a template for the synthesis of new strand. Now this the one which is parental strand, it acts as a template. Here they have used the word template. This parental strand, it acts as a template for the synthesis of new strands. So it acts as a template which will allow the synthesizing, which will allow the synthesis of this new strands. This one is new strand. Here also this one is new. Then parental or the template strand determines the sequence of the bases in the new strand, that is in the daughter strand, which are complementary base pairing rules. So here this one is the daughter strands. So this strand, the bases, the sequence, it is determined by the parental strand. Suppose in parental strands, if C is present, then in daughter strand against to C, G will come, isn't it? I have discussed in a previous slide. For C, for cytosine, the complementary strand, the complementary base will be G, guanine. Then if I have T in parental strand, the complementary strand in daughter strand will be, the complementary base in daughter strand will be A. For T, I will have A. Then likewise, if here G is present in parental strand, then for G I will get C in daughter strand. And if A is present in parental strand, for A the complementary will be T in the daughter strand. So likewise it will form the nitrogenous bases and we will get a complementary base pair. Now from one parental DNA I am getting two daughter complex, isn't it? And each of these complex, it contain one parental strand, this one is parental strand, and one newly synthesized daughter strands. Here also out of the two strands, one is parental which is present from before and another one is newly synthesized, that is the daughter strand. So we can say that this mode of DNA replication is called semi-conservative replication. Semi-conservative because it contains both the parental strand also and the newly synthesized strand also. That is why semi-conservative DNA replication is semi-conservative replication. And this was again experimentally proved by Michelson and Stahl, which I will discuss in the next slide. They have proved it with the help of an experiment.